Today, we are honored to recognize Jay Timmons, a national leader whose work has helped elevate the role of manufacturing, workforce development, and skills-based opportunities in driving economic growth. As president and CEO of the National Association of Manufacturers, Jay has been a leading voice for strengthening the connection between education and industry, championing policies and initiatives that prepare individuals for meaningful, high-demand careers. His leadership reflects a deep commitment to building a modern, inclusive workforce that meets the needs of both learners and employers. Here at WGU, we are grounded in our commitment to expand access to high-quality, affordable education aligned to workforce needs. And Jay's leadership reflects that same commitment. He has consistently advanced efforts to elevate skills, expand opportunity, and create clearer pathways from learning to employment. Jay, your impact reflects the very best of what we strive for at WGU. We are honored to recognize your contributions and welcome you as an honorary degree recipient. Now please join me in watching this video.
The National Association of Manufacturers really is public service. 13 million men and women work in the industry right now. Whatever job you want in manufacturing, there is something for you, and you're never going to get bored because manufacturing constantly is evolving. If you think back to my grandfather's day 90 years ago, it is very different. Look, it was dirty, dark, and dangerous. That is not what manufacturing is today. Today, manufacturing is clean, it's sleek, and even I get blown away sometimes by the modern advances. Think back to Eli Whitney and the cotton gin, the number of people that it took to piece by piece manufacture that machinery, and then think of today, the automation. You have a whole different level of expertise that's needed. They're creating products that are making life better. All of that is because of manufacturers' ingenuity and creativity. We were the ones that invented modern transportation through automobiles and airplanes. We were the ones that helped save the world during the COVID crisis. If it hadn't been for manufacturers, we wouldn't have had the vaccines that protect so many people from that deadly disease. My father died of COVID. I watched it happen, and it was horrible. When the vaccine came out, I was thinking about the millions and millions of people around the world that would not have to die, and it was because of the ingenuity of manufacturers. It allows people to build a better quality of life for their families and for their communities as well. Education at all levels has been critical, I think, for the success of manufacturing. If you ask me what technology will make possible for manufacturing, say 5, 10 years from now, I can't give you an answer. It's not going to be the folks that are in the seats right now. It's going to be the folks that are coming out of our educational systems today. Those are the folks that are going to determine what manufacturing looks like and how technology is used in manufacturing 5, 10, 15 years in the future. Today, we have 433,000 open jobs in manufacturing. That number is going to grow to 2 million by the year 2033. You want to be creative? You want the highest average salary of any sector of the economy? If you want to constantly be challenged in a good way, and if you want to be able to provide for your family for the future, come to manufacturing. I think the most important thing that any person at any age can do is be themselves and break the mold. Because if you're doing what other people tell you that you should do, even if it's something that you think you're really good at, if you don't love it, it's probably not going to be the right thing for you. You've got to have passion for what you're doing. My advice is always the same. Be a good person, be a decent person. Always be your authentic self. And then I would say, pay it forward. Make sure that there are others in your orbit who you can help to inspire to follow their own passion.
Jay, will you please join me here at the lectern? On behalf of all of us, We express our deepest appreciation for your leadership and unwavering commitment to shaping a better future. It is my distinct privilege to present you with this honorary doctorate of humane letters. Congratulations, Jay. Now, at this time, I'll also ask our provost, Dr. Courtney Hills Macbeth, to join me as we also present you with the hood, as well as our two trustees, Lenny Mendonca and Lakshman Narasimhan. We'll step right over here. So.
Well, thank you so much, and good morning, Night Owls. It is such a privilege to be with you here today. And to the parents, the friends, the family members, to members of the audience from all across the country, and most of all, to the WGU class of 2026, congratulations. To Divine and Regina, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your stories with all of us. Quite honestly, after I heard them, I wasn't sure how to follow you. I'm deeply inspired and deeply moved by your life stories, and I thank you so much for sharing them with us. From Wiley, Texas to Rock Hill, South Carolina, you indeed represent the success story that is the class of 2026. Thank you. And to Catherine, your beautiful rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner, thank you for reminding us of the hope and the promise and the beacon that is the United States of America. And I have to say thank you to the WGU production crew for that video. I don't know how you did it, but I really do appreciate very much that story. And most of all, I want to say a special thanks to President Pulsiver and the WGU leadership. I want to thank you for this very great honor. It is indeed a high point of my life. And in fact, my mother, Mickey Timmons, is here in the audience. And today, she has finally seen her son receive a college degree, something she's been dreaming about for more than 60 years. So, Mom, this one is for you. So here's why she hasn't seen this before. I started at The Ohio State University, but before I made it to the graduation stage, as Regina said, life had other plans. I was impatient. I still am, so I'm told. In my sophomore year, I ran for public office at the tender age of 20. I lost that race, and I dropped out of college to move to Washington, D.C., because I had a passion. I wanted to chase a career in politics and public policy. I worked very hard, but I also got quite lucky. I was lucky because I got to work with people and for people who believed in me. And as you saw in that video today, I lead the National Association of Manufacturers, advocating for the 13 million people who make things in America. Manufacturers and WGU graduates, you share the same ethos. Manufacturers don't wait for perfect conditions. They buckle down and they get to work. They prove themselves by what they can do. They make things, and in particular, they make things happen. Does that sound familiar? Because it should. You didn't wait for perfect conditions either. You've already heard it said today. 50% of you are the first in your family to go to college. Some of you studied at night because you had to work all day. Some of you came back to school mid-career. Some of you are closer to my generation, the wisest, I think I heard. Every path you took, every obstacle you overcame, together with your loved ones, it all led you to the seats in this arena. You made the most important bet that a person can make. You bet on yourself. And here you are. So if you would, indulge me for just a moment and give yourselves a very well-deserved round of applause. Now, in my career, I've had the great fortune to sit with presidents and governors and CEOs and members of Congress. Most importantly, I've spent time with the men and women who make things in America. And here's what I've learned. The people who are the happiest, the people who are the most successful, they are the people who are the most authentically themselves. They know who they are, they accept who they are, and they embrace who they are. You all are a group of night owls, but you're graduating in the morning. You don't follow tradition, you stay true to you. And that's what you've proven here today. And I really want you to remember that on special days like this one, the hard days that come, and there will be those, and all the days in between. I want to offer you 3 rules that have helped me throughout my life and that I hope maybe have helped to you as well. And while I'm talking to you, I'm also offering these thoughts to my 3 children, Catherine, Ellie, and Jacob. They're sitting over here in this audience with my mother and my husband, Rick. First, follow your passion and work relentlessly hard at it. If you just follow the path that you or even others think that you're supposed to follow, it's going to show up in your work. But if you follow the path that you know is right for you, it's going to transform your career, and it's going to become an anchor in your life. Second, in the times that test you, remember, it gets better. I promise. Hold on to that. There have been many times that crosswinds have stormed into my life. And when they come your way, don't wait for that storm to pass. Hold your ground, learn, adapt, persevere, and most of all, overcome. And third, be authentic. Be true to yourself. Don't stay in someone else's mold. It's a point of pride not to fit in a box. Celebrate your own story and lead with it. And finally, let me leave you with this. Remember this day and hold it close. Remember this feeling. Remember who you are, and go out and make things happen. Congratulations, class of 2026.